So, what should you do when you're collaborating with somebody? Maybe it's an instrumentalist, maybe it's a vocalist, and they just flake on you. You might be deep into a project, maybe multiple tracks, a full album in, and all of a sudden, your collaborator isn't responding to their emails, isn't texting you back, isn't calling you back. You don't even know if they're alive anymore. You don't know what the heck happened. This has definitely been an issue in my career, and I think every single one of you, if it hasn't been an issue yet, it will be. Trust me, this day is coming. If it doesn't come from a collaborator or a vocalist, especially vocalists, it might come from a library owner. It might come from somebody you have some sort of reliance on to be able to continuously potentially get new opportunities for your music. So people flaking out on each other is one of the most, unfortunately, but normal parts of business, and definitely the sync licensing industry. So this video is basically going to try to help you give some or get you some powerful and useful ways to deal with those stressful situations and move forward through them. Okay. When I was thinking about how to put a video like this together, I thought, all right, well, I got to have a sort of, step-by-step process for what you do to essentially recover, some lost ground on the project and move forward. But as I thought about it more, I realized like I've had projects in my career where there's just no such thing as being able to recover a lot of the work that I've done and somehow still get those tracks pitched off to somebody, because at the end of the day, even if you negotiated everything with a collaborator or a vocalist, that person, if they're co-writing with you, still needs to sign an agreement with the library you're going to pitch to. So if they're just MIA, all that work is kind of down the drain without a second signature that can authorize that, yes, these tracks can be distributed, right? So that's really not possible for a lot of opportunities. The only exception to that would be is if you had done a work for hire agreement and this vocalist or instrumentalist or producer had signed off on a work for hire agreement and you already paid them, they'd already done the work, and now they're just suddenly not available. Less of an issue because you've got a paper trail and you've got an agreement and hopefully a payment receipt that the work was performed, the payment was sent, and the agreement is signed, and you'd be clear to basically have full control over that music to be able to, sign it off. But aside from that one type of situation, here's what my point of view would be on how you deal with that. The only thing you got to remember is, and keep in mind, is that setbacks in our careers need to be anticipated, expected, and most importantly, cannot be so overwhelming to us that it ruins and dampens our motivation to keep moving forward. So what I tell everybody to do, especially in Sync Academy, this has happened even within Sync Academy members collaborating, right? People have been working together, suddenly somebody drops off the planet, and it's like, what do I do? First thing is always keep in mind that any particular project, even library, any situation you're currently embarking upon does not equate to your entire career, okay? It's just one thing you're working on. It's one project, it's one library agreement, it's one distributor, it's one vocalist, whatever it is, that is not it's not the entirety of your career. It's just gonna be one tiny piece of it, okay? So if you are facing a situation where somebody's flaking out and you're not getting back to you and you're really sitting there kind of in turmoil over it and worried, anxious, getting stressed, getting angry at that person, at that company, at that library, whoever it is, you're probably stealing and robbing from your own motivation. And you're basically doing yourself a massive disservice by not just moving forward with new music and a new project. So just always keep that in the back of your mind that if this day hasn't happened yet, it is going to come. And when it comes, just remind yourself, hopefully something in this video embeds deep into your mind that, okay, this is frustrating, this is stressful. I don't know if I'll be able to resolve this with this person and get a hold of them to find out what we're going to do moving forward. But this isn't the end of my story. This isn't my entire career. This doesn't need to be an all or nothing situation. I need to keep some healthy perspective here, okay? So just always keep that in mind. Now, what should you do? Obviously, reach out to the person in every method you possibly can. Email them, text them, DM them on social media, look them up online, see if there's other contact methods maybe you weren't aware of. Who knows? They could be in the hospital. They could have had a family emergency. They might just be getting cold feet and not want to do sync licensing anymore. Who knows what the situation is? We can't read minds, but basically shoot them in all directions in terms of trying to get a hold of them and letting them know you want to keep working with them, you want to finish the project, you'd like to hear from them, okay? Of course, assuming that you're still not getting anything and you can't move forward in that direction. It is advised, I would definitely advise you to send them at least a sort of an ultimatum, email, text, message, DM, whatever it is, maybe in all those methods. Not in a rude way, but just to say, listen, I don't know what's going on. I hope you're okay. You know, obviously wish them well. There could be something really horrible that's happened. Wish them well and say, I haven't heard from you. It's been a week, something like that. And I need to really move on with this project. We really need to get these tracks pitched, and I'd like to move on with this. I'm going to give them a set date, not just like a couple of days, nothing vague like that. Say like, I can give you till this Friday, whatever, October 13th, whatever the date is, to respond to me, to let me know that you're still interested in working with me to continue finishing this project. If I don't hear from you by that date, I will assume that you're not interested or unavailable, and I will need to figure out a way to move on with what I've contributed to this project. And so that would be your next move, is to say, here's the ultimatum, here's the deadline. Please let me know if you're still working. I'd love to keep working with you again. Keep it open and friendly, sort of an open door coming back, but also with that sort of tough love of like, but this isn't an invitation open forever, and I do need to keep moving forward with my career, right? So if you don't hear from him by that date, then what you should do is take back what you've contributed to the project. So if you wrote the drums, you did the guitar riffs, whatever it is that you actually contributed to the project, maybe you did all the music and the vocalist just hasn't delivered their vocals, that music is now back to you. You've given the ultimatum, you've given them a written, sort of notice to say, hey, I'd like to work with you, but I can't wait around forever. They're not responding. That's when you should be free to take that music back, take whatever, maybe even just part of the music back, and flush it out any way you'd like to, or just take that music and go pitch it anywhere you want to, just being sort of a sole creator of it, or maybe going, if you're maybe feeling like it, reaching out to another vocalist or another person to basically start a new ambitious collaboration. Maybe you want to cool it for a bit. That's why I didn't do tons and tons of collaborations in my career, because just a few of those scenarios which I ran into, it's enough to go like, I don't know. Like when you find somebody that's reliable and they got their own home studio and they're consistent and they're always delivering in a timely manner, yeah, you hold on to those people with both hands and you keep working with them. But they're rare. It's not always an easy thing to find. But definitely, take your music back and start finding new places for it to move forward. And also, kind of going back to my first main point of this video, while you're waiting for that person to respond to you, maybe give them a week or two or whatever, you definitely, in order to get away from the sort of, twiddling your thumbs, getting anxious, getting angry about it, and kind of ruminating over what is or what's not happening with the other person, put it out of your mind. You've sent the email, you've given them the ultimatum, get to work. Like getting to work on the next set of tracks, the next music, the next idea, the next library endeavor, whatever it is. Get to work on something new. Start spinning your momentum and your wheels forward. That is the best antidote for feeling like, man, I just sunk weeks and weeks into this project and that person is just gone now. I don't even know if any of that music can be pitched. Those kinds of thoughts will literally drain you of your creativity, drain you of your energy, drain you of your motivation, and put you in a place where you don't even want to get out of bed and you don't even want to keep doing this thing. So you got to be very careful when these situations arise. They are stressful, they're not fun, but they're not, and they don't have to be the end of your career, because you're looking at somebody who had that happen to me multiple times, got stressed out, wished I had a video like this that could have coached me through it a little bit better, but I figured out a way to just keep marching forward and just expect it. It's going to be a part of this industry. It's going to be part of your journey, but it doesn't have to be the end all be all of your entire career. Okay. If you guys have dealt with this and you have a really interesting, fun or sad or stressful story to share, post it below. I'd love to read it. I'm sure we could all probably benefit from each other's experiences in this business.